Video there for our show here, J&J Dissect The Walking Dead. I was able to run into Ross Marquand at the convention this past weekend, and he was so gracious enough to record us a little intro video for us, which is awesome. I was super pumped about that. But I won't go too much into the convention, as Kelsey and I will be going into a full-length video, just kind of going over what we liked, what we didn't like, some other tips and stuff like that, help you guys out in the future conventions. But tonight we are talking about episode 2 of season 8, The Walking Dead, and it's labeled The Damned. Before we jump right into that, though, once again, our usual announcements. This site is 1% towards charity, so any proceeds we get from ad advertisements, sponsorship, which we don't have any sponsors, but if we were to have sponsors, that would go towards charity as well. Donations from you all goes towards one charity or another. Right now, we are collecting funds towards American Foundation for Suicide Prevention and also hurricane relief through the Red Cross. If you guys can donate, links down below. If you guys can't donate, we understand that. What you can do to help us out is like, subscribe, follow us on all the Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Head on over to echo5studios.com. Check out some of our other videos as well. I can't tell you guys to click on the ads, but like I just mentioned, all the revenue from those ads goes towards a charity. So, James, what's going on, man? Second episode.
Hey, man, everything is good. Very, very happy to see my buddy Jay and his wife Kelsey make it to the Walker Stalker convention. As always, I live vicariously through them. I've been blessed to have children, so it's try to go to these things with kids is kind of hard, but I am going to make it a point to go next year, no matter what. So I already got stuff in place. I got the permission from the wife, so I'm good to go. So Jay better have, everybody over for dinner when I come down to Albuquerque. So, right. I'm coming. Get the cot ready. You could put me on the porch. You could put me in the hallway, wherever you are. It doesn't matter. But I'm going to be there next year. Make sure you have a lot of food in the refrigerator too. I don't want to be hungry. Going to the place.
For all that stuff out, I mean, general admission is pretty cheap. For everybody watching, tickets go on sale relatively soon this month. I think I'll have to double check, but they're up. Website is coming up here within a couple weeks. But never pay full price of general admission, guys. Always wait for deals. Black Friday is coming up. They always have a deal around Black Friday. Holidays. Yep. It's always usually buy one get one free. Sometimes even like buy one get three free. It gets pretty crazy out there. Never pay full price for general admission. And also there's other ways you can get it for free if you're a military veteran, first responder, disabilities, stuff like that. Kids underneath a certain age. Check out the rules and everything like that before you go spend money. But once again this year we included James in the fun. Last year we tried to get an autograph from Lenny James, and he was just like, "Let me see your phone." And I was like, all right. We recorded a personalized video for him, our buddy over there. Yes. And this year, once again, apparently the actors become more gracious. The more, I guess, gracious the guests are. As once again, we requested an autograph, this time from Greg Nicotero for our buddy James. And we went to his backstory of him, how he loves horror movies. He has a giant rack of over like 100 horror movies next to him over there. He's got tattoos, sleeves up and down his arm. And he was like, you know what? This guy seems important to you all. Give him a call. Call him up.
Yeah.
So.
And they had me speak to one of my childhood idols on the phone, and I froze up. You have a million things you want to say to these guys if you ever talk to them, and then it's nostalgia. It's just like, you're starstruck, and just hearing his voice was incredible. I got something in my eye, but is obviously grateful that Jay is a friend of mine, and he was able to include me. But speaking to Greg Nicotero, man, it was like, wow, it's just like, the only person that I would want to speak to more than him would be George Romero, and obviously he passed away. So speaking to him is like speaking to George Romero as well. So yeah. Being able to speak to him was like a bucket list thing. So maybe next year when I actually make it down there, he even told me, tell me I talked to you on the phone last year. I'm going to, get my shit together so I could say to him what I wanted to say to him on the phone, other than I can't believe I'm talking to Greg Nicotero. So thanks again, Jay. He's made it happen 2 years in a row. You can't beat that. And as a lifelong fan and watching it since I was 3-4 years old, watching his movies and seeing his craft in the early in my terms in the mid 80s, and then all the way to now, it's like I've grown in a way with this genre. So it's like looking at it then and looking at it now, you just see his brilliance and his genius. So being able to talk to him was phenomenal. So thank you again, Jay. I appreciate that, man.
Of course, man. Glad I could help out there. And once again, these are the the actors, in this case producers, that just took it upon themselves. We didn't request either of these, and it was just them want to reach out and reach out to the real fans out there. So it was great.
Yeah,
it was crazy. We're that was the highlight of our weekend. It was flabbergasted. But we want to dwell on that too much. We are dissecting the second episode of the 8th season. So what's going on? What do you think?
Well, and before we even before we dissect, I want to thank my buddy Stan. I'm always tuning in, so this is a shout out to him. He actually introduced to a person that he has watching the show. I met her today at a meeting, and she was, she stressed that she's a little bit disappointed in season 7, but she has tuned into our show and she liked our show. So Stan is spreading the word. He also gives me a lot of, he gives me questions, and we both had a little bit of a prediction who we thought was going to die this season. In a big character. He made his prediction. I made mine. I told Jay before the show, he wrote these names down. He'll reveal them if one of us is correct. And I will explain why we would be correct and then why we would be incorrect when that happens. But that's for a later date. Thank you again, Stan. That's a special shout out for you, buddy. Keep up that workout plan. Don't give up. For episode 2, they're starting to show you, the first strike was against Negan and the Saviors. They're showing you that it can't just be Rick, Maggie, and Ezekiel beating up the Saviors without any ramifications. They started to show you a little turn of events and show you that, you can. There will be casualties on not just one side. There'll be casualties on both sides, and you're starting to see small pieces of the Alexandrian army fall, and some common, soldiers we've seen since season 6, they perish. So having them die was a little bit of a chink in the armor of the Alexandrians, just to remind them that casualties of war aren't blinded to either side. So I loved it. I love the battle scenes. Again, this one to me felt like the episode was very jumbled. They try to throw a lot in there, but I understand why they're doing that. They're trying to appease for, the snail pace that they had last season.
Right.
And I think that they're doing it the right way, and they're rising up slowly to tell this breakneck pace storyline. So I think if I had, any, issues with it's a replica of episode 1, just the flip side of the coin, or the second part of the initial attack. So, you start to see more planning on the Alexandrian side, and you start to see the Saviors. You can't just, in the boxing match, sometimes you go hard and you come out and you hit a couple of roundhouses and you think it's all over. If it's a prize fighter, they're gonna take your best shots. You gotta be able to take their best shots in return. So, it's I'm gonna let Jay tell you what he thinks. Then we're gonna go even deeper in the episode. But I thought it was, very similar to the first episode generally. I could see some of the things that Jay may not have liked about it, but I'm gonna let him get into that, and he might have liked the whole thing. Like I said, this is improv too. Jay, what did you think of it, man?
I agree. I think what they want to show is that this is a war. This isn't like previous battles where there's skirmishes. You know,
Yeah.
this is planned. This is battle maps. This is reconnaissance. This is long term. This isn't go in, kill, get back. Um, and I think you said a good word. And it was jumbled a little bit.
Yeah.
It was a little unclear going from last episode. All of a sudden, they're separated, but there wasn't much explanation.
Mm-hmm.
You have three different groups in here. You have Jesus, let's say go Jesus group over there. Jesus
Mm-hmm.
Morgan, Tara. And then you have
Ezekiel Carroll.
Ezekiel Carroll. Well, then so you got that group too. Then obviously you have Rick and Daryl just all by themselves. Then you also
Correct.
have Aaron and his
Yep.
group over there. I think the most jumbled part was with Aaron's group. I didn't like the pacing of the fight. When it seemed like the fight was almost over by the time Alexandrian started getting shot. It was after like she already got bit in the face. I thought the tide was already turned. I probably would have liked to see that structured a little bit differently because I'm not sure how that happened because they're pressing and then they fought them off and then they're pressing again somehow. If it was long enough for the walkers to reanimate, I just didn't feel, I guess, the urgency of the Alexandrians to expose themselves so much where they got shot. And all kind of happened all at the same time, too.
Yeah.
I love the ending. Love the ending. That was awesome.
I do too.
That was great. I was pumped to see that. But we'll get to that when we kind of walk through everything.
Yep.
The other groups were okay. Carol and Ezekiel was, I guess, see some more tiger action. That's always fun.
Yep. Brilliant CGIs. I love the CGI they do with Shiva. So that's
that's where all their CGI money went towards. It's like 99% that and 0.2% this deer, and then but yeah, Shiva is crazy looking. How authentic it looks.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, I thought that was a solid episode. Just not much in. It's slow, fast paced. If that makes sense. It's
a slow build.
Yeah. So we're getting there, but like James mentioned, people are dying on both sides, which we have to be ready for, and it's not top tier names, but named characters nonetheless.
And you know what? I talking to Jay so much and watching this together since season 2, you kind of get a feel of what he likes and what he doesn't like. Sometimes he'll surprise you with something, but it's really not a surprise because you kind of know. But it's like watching this, you kind of put yourself, because I work with him on this, and we do this together and we feed off each other. So when I'm watching this, sometimes, I'll look back and I'll say, when I'm watching it the second time and I'm trying to get together like my notes and my mental notes for the show, I'll say, where's the Jossam moment at? Jay's Oceanside moment. Where's the moment that Jay is like, where's the moment that Jay is saying, they didn't need that? Where's the moment that he'll get excited for? So I literally mentally, when he was telling, his pluses and minuses of the show, I envisioned all of them. And the one thing that I even said to my wife was, my wife said it, that the battle between Aaron's group and the Saviors at that point, and they're shooting at each other, and sometimes the Saviors get shot, and the Saviors are running in front of bullets, as they're not listening for ammunition, weapons to run out of ammunition. They're not listening for clicks. They're just randomly running in the crossfire. And she pointed that out. I go, that's something that Jay would say. That's something he would see, and it would kind of irritate him a little bit. Not to the point where he hates the episode, but it would make him say, "Come on, why are they doing this?" So, I think all of the groups, the Terror Jesus group, I think if I rank them, I would have to rank the Terror Jesus group as my favorite group because it's Tara, Jesus, and Morgan. You got three different, ideologies here.
Yeah.
Tara is all about revenge. Jesus is all about, it's almost like everybody's flip flopped. Jesus is like Morgan. It's weird. Morgan is all fucked up, and Tara is like, Morgan as well. They're both like the two sides of Morgan in a weird way. Or they're Morgan and Rick, and Tara is Rick in this sense, and Jesus is Morgan. And it's like Morgan is starting to lose control. He loses it. I love Lenny James as a character. So it's like when I see him and his acting skills, it's like that's just special to me because it shows you Tara is all about revenge. Jesus is about doing the right things. Morgan is this freaking random he's an X Factor. He's just a killing machine, and you get the elements of Clear. You get the elements of Here's Not Here, where he's with Eason. So it's like you get all this stuff. You even get the elements of Days Gone By, the first episode, when he's like hesitant to kill, Jared at the end. He had his finger on the trigger. It reminded me of when he was going to kill his wife, but he couldn't do it. So you throw in all the elements of all the great Morgan episodes into one jam-packed episode for him. That was my favorite part of the show. I liked Rick and Daryl second best because Daryl and Rick have great chemistry together.
They really do.
And they don't need an army.
Yeah.
Go ahead, sir.
I would say it reminds me, when they went on that little field trip alone to find, where they ran into Jesus there. It was.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Starsky and Hutch type of thing, and it's like, they have great chemistry and they show they don't need an army with them. They can get shit done themselves because they're the generals. They are the top dogs. Mm-hmm. And then, you look and you see the kingdom and it was like, Ezekiel is doing his, whatever the hell he does, the old age knighthood thing that he does, and that's him in the comic book. So it's okay. I'm not going to complain too much. And, you see the relationship between him and Carol. And, obviously he's, a lot of foretelling of what's going to happen. Morgan saying he doesn't die. King Ezekiel saying nobody's going to get harmed as a savior. And, then you go to Aaron and Eric, their group of the lesser Alexandrians, or the original Alexandrians, I should say. This group is the original Alexandrians before Rick came. Mm-hmm. And they showed that they were the weakest of the groups. And it showed because they had the most casualties. And with Eric getting shot, it looks bleak for him. And, they lost a couple of Alexandrians from the beginning. It looks bleak for them too. So I'm not bleak. They're actually dead. So it's like, it was like we said at the beginning, it was jumbled, but it's expected because there is a rising action. And it just, like I said, man, if you're a fighting fan, if you're a boxing fan, if you have two prize fighters, if one comes out hot and heavy, it's not Mike Tyson versus, a bum where he's beating him up. It's like a Tyson versus Holyfield type of fight. Tyson's going to go on his flurries, but how is he going to respond when Holyfield goes on his flurries? And it's like, in this sense, the saviors are starting to hit back, but they haven't attacked back. They're just defending themselves. What's going to happen when the saviors make their move? That's when you're going to have bigger casualties, and that's when it's going to get good. So here we are.
They're on the ropes. They're on
the rope
right now. They got to push your way out, and now all of a sudden, weapons on the tables are turned.
They're the prize fighters, and we got a little surprise at the end of the episode, which I loved. Mr. Morales came back. He's been going since season 1. There's been rumors of him returning every single season up until this point. We don't know his story at this point. I'm assuming he's there by himself. I'm assuming something happened to his family. He ran into the saviors. He became part of them.
Yeah. I mean, I think we
That's
should mention this. I think like I know we've talked about like what would happen, with like these groups, like even like the hospital group, would they join Negan?
correct.
It's like a magnet. It's strange.
Yeah, and why wouldn't you join Negan? I mean, he's not. Negan is. He goes after other civilizations. He goes after other communities, in the terms of you're gonna work for us. We are the saviors. We're the powerful entity. You're gonna work for us. Either you're gonna do it the easy way, or we're gonna do it the hard way. And they try to let you see, hey, we gotta kill one of you right away to let you know we're serious. But if you're an individual and you run into the saviors, it's a different story. If you look at every single individual that's run into Negan, he's kind of absorbed them. He's taken them into the sanctuary and let them become Negan. It's the communities that he has a problem with, not the individual. The individual is not a threat.
Mm-hmm.
It's the greater, the greater number of individuals that he fights. It's the many versus the one. So, he's very methodical. I could see Morales losing his family and him, down and out, and here comes Negan. So,
Yeah, and a lot of people will judge, these saviors, but man, you don't know what it's like to not have water or food for a couple of days, and here's a guy saying, "Listen, I'll make sure you got food and water for every day for the rest of your life. All you gotta do is kill the people that need to be killed."
Yep.
All right.
And
you know.
hey, and he puts it to you in a he's very charming.
Yeah.
So he puts it to you in the most non-cynical way he can. I mean, you saw how he spoke to Sasha. He's very charming. He's not sinister when he talks to you. He's a salesman. And I think even in the comic book, his backstory is he's a car salesman. He's a gym teacher or whatever. So it's like he's the type of person, he'll lull you to sleep with the bright side of things. But if you cross him, he'll give you a hint of that dark side. But he understands that I'm not gonna kill you at first, even if you piss me off. I'm going to let you drink the Kool-Aid and understand that that's the only way. Yeah. And obviously when he gets to the stronger, fighters like Daryl and Sasha, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
But somebody like Eugene, somebody like Dwight, somebody like the doctor that he stole from Hilltop, Gregory, maybe Morales, obviously Morales at this point, he's gonna get them to drink the Kool-Aid and absorb them into that sanctuary. So, it's fun. It's fun.
Yeah, and you never know. It could, like any character, remove them from the group, they could possibly join up with them. Even Glenn was having some conflicts back in the prison days when after the T-Dog was killed. He even said, I'd give up all these prisoners to have T-Dog back, basically.
Yep.
Maybe he's showing up. I don't know if we go that far, but you never know. It's
Yeah.
a gray area. He walked that line. He crossed. He walked up to that line, where he could turn everybody away, and he was okay with that. Where, maybe someone like Glenn could have fallen into, Negan's charm or persuasion.
Yeah, and look at Deanna Monroe. It's the same thing there.
Mm-hmm.
She had her own community. She had the Alexandrians, and they followed her lead, and she literally gave all of that up, for Rick to lead them. All it took was Rick, tragedy and Rick's power for her to say, I'll give you guys all up, to follow this man's lead. I don't care about my land leadership at this point. It's shit.
Yeah.
I'm going with him. So even a leader in that sense went to the greater good. And, and like Jay said, you got to wonder why are we labeling bad guy and good guy in the end of the world? What's a bad guy in this world? What's a bad guy in the apocalypse of killing? There is none. It's a gray area. Everything is mashed together.
Mm-hmm.
So
Like, there are no rules. This is
There's
a
no rules.
normal day.
Not,
Survival.
not,
We have to do this because there are zombies out there, or there's
that's the
people out
bad.
there who would kill us to take our
Yeah,
stuff. So we have to
yeah,
kill them.
yeah.
You know?
And the real enemy are the walkers. That's
Yeah.
the real enemy.
Yeah.
That's it.
But
You
even
know,
they're not. You can't qualify them as evil. They're just doing what they do.
they are
You know?
just a virus that is made to replicate and continue to exist no matter what.
It's like a natural disaster. You can't
It
say
is.
a hurricane's evil. It just happens.
It just happens. So even they're not the bad guys, but that's the issue
Yeah.
in this new world. And there's no rhyme. There's no good way or bad way to deal with it. It's it's to deal with it is the variable here. Is how you deal with this phenomena.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, there's no right and wrong way to do it. You just have to deal with it. And a right way may be a wrong way to somebody else, and a wrong way may be a right way to somebody else. So, it's always gray. And I love how Kirkman and Gimple make you see that it's always gray.
Yeah. Look at like Oceanside. Is that the right way? Just to run and hide.
Hey. And Rick thinks it's the wrong way, but all of them think it's the right way.
They're all alive.
Yeah.
Well,
Exactly.
the females are. The males are all dead. Or look at the library group. Let's stand up to
Yep.
Negan because that's the right way to do it.
Yep.
They're all dead.
All dead.
Is that the right way?
No.
Might be the heroic way or the, most good way, but.
And another one of our, loyal watchers, my friend Tim, he watched and, I talked to him about this and he said, even the Garbage Patch Kids or the Garbage Pail Kids, are they evil? They made a deal with Rick to kill the Saviors. They don't know the Saviors are bad or good. They're going by Rick's story. Well, they ran into the Saviors. The Saviors didn't kill them. The Saviors said, hey, they're giving you a deal. Why don't we give you... Why would they be the bad guys? They're trying to survive. They did They were going to do the same thing to Negan that they did to Rick. So it's like, how can you label them? Obviously they look like the villain because they're opposing the hero of the story. Mm-hmm. But in reality, is Rick the hero? And I love it that Gimple makes you really think about it. If you're involved in the show, if you're dedicated to the show and you watch it, you'll start to understand what Jay and I are saying, that you can't look at it, you can't have tunnel vision watching the show. You kind of have to see the whole thing, the whole picture. And it'll be a better show for you to watch if you're able to do that. And just even Morales, we're going off on tangents, but even Morales, what was wrong with Morales in the beginning? How do we know that he's still not the same Morales? He just sees Rick as the crazy one now. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, did Morales change?
Yeah, or did Rick change, Or,
see?
Even after he killed that Savior, Rick had guilt. He was like, shit, there's a baby here. Do what I just do.
I killed somebody's father.
Before it was just, whatever. This
Mm-hmm.
is, cannon fodder over here. But now it's like, wow, wait. What's going on? Wait, these are humans? Oh, yeah. Almost forgot.
I thought that they were protecting guns. They're protecting children. Oh, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, so now Morales is looking at this guy as killing probably a friend of his, and a friend of his child is now fatherless. Maybe Morales is like, what the fuck is wrong with you? This is what the Saviors were telling us, that you guys are just crazy. And... proof is in the pudding. You go and throw him against the freaking exposed pole.
Yeah. What if it's Negan's baby?
Yeah, I mean, he has about 5 or 6 wives.
Right, and Wes McCaw was going in there for a pregnancy test, right?
Yes. Yeah. So I mean, he obviously doesn't use condoms. So you never know.
Right.
He has 5 or 6 wives, and they it's the end of the world.
Is Rick gonna raise somebody else's baby? Oh yeah.
Yeah,
he already is.
He already is. Yeah, that's true. Rest in peace, Shane. But exciting episode. I'm looking forward to 3. It reminds me of season 6. They started off with that, it was really well written. 6-1 was really well written episode. Where they went back and forth in time. Like the first time again, I think that was the name of the episode. Mm-hmm. But they went back and forth between the past and the present, I thought that was really well written, and it also started to build up, with the horn at the end of that episode. It built into the second episode where, the wolves attacked Alexandria. And then the third episode, which was one of my favorite episodes of all time, the Glenn fake out death. And then the fourth episode, you started to see, wow, this shit is getting good. I have the same feel about season 8. It is jumbled a little bit, but I think that they did that because they're just trying to throw everything at you as much as they can. And to me, it's almost like it's better than what we did last year. Here, take this. It's better. Just take it. Just watch it and take it and listen and watch and don't get bored. You can't get bored. Here, we'll throw something else at you. We'll throw a battle. We'll throw another group. We'll throw another group fighting. We'll throw in Morales. So it's like, what? It's like overload.
What happened? I thought they're all together. Now they're all separate. And I think the key word, like you said it again, is jumbled. With 6-1, it was clear you had present and past. Yes. One's black and white, one's not. You can see the jump.
Yes.
First one was it's future Rick. Wait.
Yes.
And then there's him like the bloodshot eyes. Is that not so distant future Rick?
Exactly. Yeah. It's almost like they did it. This is a sloppy version of the masterpiece that was 6-1. Right. This is like the rough draft, if you want to consider it that way. 6-1 was the masterpiece. That was the standard of a great premiere episode where you went back and forth. This one is it's very, very tricky, and it makes you crazy, and like we keep saying, jumbled. So it's like, episode 2 was jumbled as well, but we're starting to get a little bit clearer. No pun intended, because Morgan is all fucked up. But
yeah, and that worries me, because when you see repetitive patterns for characters like this, they call it an arc and not waves for characters, because for him to come back from crazy again is, to me, I feel like that's unlikely.
Yeah.
I don't.
Twice.
Yeah, I think he'll eventually bite the dust, and it'll be some sort of lesson learned from that, or something.
You got to look at the history of the show. The one thing that I could tell you in a hint is that once somebody starts to talk about hope out of nowhere, it's not good for them. So rewatch the show. You start to see little things and people starting to look at hope a little bit. And once somebody, like Jay said, starts to go off the deep end after they were already off the deep end, they usually don't come back they don't come back. You can't. Morgan is, again, it's going to cost him. And he also said, I don't die. If that's not, predicting his death, I don't know what is. It's like King Ezekiel said, we won't lose any fighters, in this battle. If that's not saying that some of the kingdom warriors are going to die, I don't know what else is. Yeah. You can't predict that in war. What?
Yeah, you want to prepare people for when the shit does hit the fan, not give them false hope and, unprepared because you're too cocky or arrogant.
Yeah, and arrogance gets you killed. It clouds the mind. Mm-hmm. But I love it, man. I love the direction it's going. I'll take the jumbledness, as long as they don't throw an Oceanside moment at us for real. A lot of questions still to be answered. What's going on with Carl, Michonne, Judith, Rosita? What's going on with Heath? He's still out there somewhere. Mm-hmm. Where are the Garbage Pail Kids? We haven't seen them come back. What happened with Father Gabriel and Negan? They didn't come. They weren't shown in episode 2. What are the Saviors going to do in retaliation? Got tons of questions. You got Maggie. What happened with her and maybe Gregory? You got Tara and Jesus dynamic here. Clashing. And the ultimate question for Lenny James fans like myself is what's going on in Morgan's head again. So big time questions.
Yeah, I think for Rosita, real quick, she just had the baby when they were recording this, and I think she
Yes.
mentioned that in the Talking Dead
Hmm.
special that she was like, "I'm ready to go back to work. Let's do this. Give me 2 weeks. I'll be ready to go." And Gimbel's like, "Well, why don't we just
Nope.
kind of hold you
Yeah.
off for a little bit?" And she's like,
Hmm.
"Thank you so much because giving birth is crazy. I can imagine it.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes.
I just saw her the weekend, and she looks amazing. I'm not sure how, uh, but
I'd be a mess. I tell you
oh
that.
yeah,
I've seen it. I've seen it up close and personal,
yeah."
and I know what it does to the women, and it just makes me thank God every day that I'm a man because there's no way in hell.
They're,
It's crazy.
they're
I
so
get
strong. It's
wow.
insane. It's
No,
insane.
and that's something that you don't want to play with. You just, hey,
Yeah.
you
Uh,
got
there, that much stuff going on. So that's where she is. Also, she just got shot too in the storyline. So,
perfect.
she's recovering, so it
Yep.
ties in there. Same thing with Michonne. She just got beat up. Maybe a concussion. We'll say something like that where she's not capable 100%, where she'd be more of a liability than anything else for the group out there.
And she writes plays and stuff like that, so that
Yeah.
gave her some time to write plays. I know she might be part of a Marvel
Yep. So
comic.
she's gonna be in Black Panther.
Yeah, so she's going to be in another movie. So this gave her time to do her own thing. She's such an
Yeah.
important, integral part of the show that they can't just kill her off. She's very willing to. They're willing to work with her.
Mm-hmm.
They gave her the storyline where she can recover. It was open ended. What if she didn't have the movie? Well, they would have had her in battle, but they chose to give her the recovery storyline. Norman Reedus had a couple of shows where he wasn't filmed, and they broke it up because he was doing writing with Norman Reedus. Um, they're creative like that, and like Jay said, Rosita just had a baby, so this is a perfect opportunity to shoot her, and have her recover from the gunshot wound. Obviously, the viewer's going to say, well, she can't fight right now. She got shot in the chest.
Yeah.
So, but very, we're looking forward to it, and we I think when these bigger episodes come, I think that the real Walking Dead viewers, the ones that understand where I'm coming from when I say you can't look with tunnel vision in the show where you can see the full picture. I think that we know something big is gonna happen, and I think that we're anticipating it. And I think that that's why things seem jumbled to us because we see the bigger picture and we see what's coming. And Jay always says that fourth episode is the hardest one. Every four episodes are the ones that are a pain in the ass, because those are the ones that hit you the hardest. We got two more to go. So
Yeah. Yeah. There's gonna be a lot of conflict. Just by going through some of the characters, you can see which ones are in danger just by thinking outside boxes. Looking at this as what it is—a TV series.
yes,
You can see who could be possibly killed, and it's people are gonna die, and you just saw the battle there, and
yeah,
it's weird that like you mentioned, that they send the original Alexandrians, which are probably the weakest group,
yep.
um, to the hardest group. Like they literally had to drive
Oh,
up and open fire on a group of people.
yes.
Uh, what it's like, huh? I mean, yeah, Aaron, he's badass. So is his boyfriend or husband Eric. But I mean,
They're not the strongest fighters, but not
yeah,
by far.
they
And it's
they
almost like
they were
it's a
probably the
chessboard.
strongest of the Alexandrians because they
Yeah,
went out. They survived out there for the
for real.
most part outside the walls, what no one else did. But now what? Everybody else has just been trained by Rick for a little bit here, and man, and that might have been a bad general call there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like a chessboard. Negan's group when you first saw it. You know, you had the king, and in his generals, you had the king. You know, I would say that Simon, unfortunately, would be the queen. You know, you had the rooks, the bishops, the knights standing up there with Negan, and then Rick and Daryl are they're the two strongest pieces. They're going on the Renaissance mission. Then you have the kingdom. You have the knights and the bishops, and the rooks as the kingdom, Tara, Jesus, Morgan's group. You know, those are the second wave, the second strongest group there. Second and third strongest groups, and then the pawns, which are the Alexandrians, like you say, they are the ones who get killed first. The pawns are the ones who get killed first on the chessboard. They should always be the ones that get killed first on the chessboard. And that's exactly how the episode played out. If you play chess, you know what I'm talking about. The Alexandrians were the ones who had the most casualties. Why? Because they're the pawns.
Yeah. As of right now, but we'll see about the kingdom.
Yeah. You're gonna lose some pieces.
Yep.
Gonna lose some pieces. Chess.
But that's war, you know. That's how it's gonna go.
Yeah, man. I can't. Like I said, man. I reiterate. Just if you're down on The Walking Dead because of season 7, you kind of have to see this season and say they've made strides. And I think this season is helped by a strong Fear the Walking Dead season. So I think they're kind of getting the interest there a little bit. Their numbers are down. Their numbers from the premiere were down. But you know what? Still over 11 million. You know, that's still more than, one of their top episodes last season other than the premiere. Mm-hmm. So it's like they're getting, give it a chance this season. I know that season 7 was tough, but they had to tell the story the way they did. They chose to go that direction. You have to put faith in Gimple. You have to put faith in Kirkman.
Yes. Yeah.
The actors are going to do their jobs. Give it a chance, and I'm you won't be disappointed because, like I said, if you're looking at it and saying, "Oh, here we go," no, look at the whole bigger picture. And this season looks like it's going to be a good one, man. I have a feeling it's going to be heartbreaking, and I think it's going to be a good season all around.
Yeah. It's a funny feeling. It's probably more anxiety than anything because I feel like we are going to lose some beloved characters, unfortunately.
I agree, and the only way to progress the story is to progress the story. You can't just hold on to these characters forever, and it's just a matter of who it is. And it's almost like reaching into a mystery box and picking out a.
Yep, today's winner is. Oh. We'll see, though, guys. We'll see.
Sure. Great episode. The questions we had just 2 questions. I think we answered them in the show. Basically, what do you think happened to Morales' family? I think that Morales' family's died. Mm-hmm. And I think that the Saviors rescued him. Another one was, do you think Eric is going to survive? No, I think he's going to die in the next episode. He has a mortal wound. I don't think he's going to survive. I think that the point of the Alexandrians fighting the Saviors, like Jay said, was they were the weaker fighters. And like I said at the end of the show, they're the pawns. They're going to be the first with casualties. You're going to see more than 2 or 3 of the pawns die. I think Eric is a pawn at this point, and Aaron isn't. I think Aaron is a little bit of a stronger fighter, like Jay said. But I think Eric, somebody like Tobin, those guys are pawns, and they're expendable. So I think Eric is going to bite the dust and is going to propel Aaron's storyline even more, which is needed for the show. So don't look forward. If you look forward to seeing Eric past episode 3, I wouldn't. He's going to die. Spoiler alert if you want. I don't think he's living. If they don't show him in episode 3, the next time they show him, he's going to be dead. He's not surviving this. So, it's just common sense. And another question was, it was a good question. where did Shiva come from? Well, Ezekiel sent some of the kingdom back to release Shiva to hunt down the savior that got away, and she did. So that's where Shiva came from. The savior at the beginning of the episode, he said, "Go retrieve the others and release Shiva," and that's what happened. So 3 questions. The other questions, they pertain to futuristic episodes. I don't want to, because it's kind of spoilery. We'll get into that as we get further into the season, but good questions. I think we answered them throughout the show for you. Just keep watching, rewatch it if you want. It's on demand. Download it on, PlayStation Network, on Xbox, whatever. Just, keep up with the episodes. See if you can catch some of these hints, because they're giving you a lot of them, giving you a lot of Easter eggs, and they're taking you back to a lot of the previous seasons, especially season 1, which is really, really cool. So that's really all I got to say. Just excitement. I think that I'm more excited that Jay got to meet all these people again. It's almost like I was there, like a hologram. So,
Next year, man, we got to meet 24 people this year.
Oh,
That's insane.
Like the knife.
We got to tune in. I think Kelsey and I will be doing that possibly next Wednesday as a wild card show.
Okay.
So tune in and we'll go through everybody. Man, it was crazy time, crazy. Still,
I am going to tune into that show live on Twitch, and I'm going to harass them in the comment section. So get ready for trolling, because I'm going to be in the comment section. That's going to be one live show. I've been trying to watch some of these shows live that Jay and Kelsey do. So that's going to be one that I'm definitely going to watch. So yeah, you guys just be prepared, because I might troll you a little bit there.
Okay, we're used to it over here. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Like we've been saying, stick around for the rest of the season. I think it's just getting started. Just gonna ramp up a little bit here.
Yeah, it is.
It's been crazy. Definitely a lot better than last season already, I'd say.
Yes.
So I'm excited for episode 3, see what's going to happen there. Hopefully figure out what's going on with Father Gabriel and Negan in there. That's a weird dynamic. I wonder how much time they'll give, like, screen time, those two together. See how they work together.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be strange. That'll be a little strange.
That's a strange pairing right there. But you know what? Negan to pair him with anybody is special. So we get to see Father Gabriel, who's supposed to be a priest, with goddamn Negan.
Right? You here for the confessional, Negan? No.
Nah.
We'll see, though. I think we'll get a picture of the Kingdom 2. What's going on with their group next episode.
Expect casualties.
Yep. You can't get your hopes up, man. You can't get your hopes up.
Expect casualties. That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah. I'm usually all right with my predictions. There's some that I might go a little too far, but there's no way.
Yeah. Yeah. So prepare yourselves for that. And we'll see you guys next week, Monday.
Next Monday it is.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.